Swirling Drug Fox here. I'm gonna start a new what if, and everybody, I just gotta give a little warning. This is gonna be one of my more darker what ifs, and that means yes to about a lot of things. This what if is called What If Deku Had the Ability of the Iron Maiden. Sorry if you guys hear background noises. And for people questioning what is the Iron Maiden, basically back then in royal times, when the king or queen was find someone guilty and they wanted to give them a very harsh punishment, they locked them up in an Iron Maiden, which was basically an entire enclosed closet, but instead of it was the size mainly as larger than a normal average human. They're left there, but the thing about the Iron Maiden, there were little spikes placed inside, and once they closed the door, the person was skewered alive. So, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna get to the story. And, okay. Where we are starting is when Deku was born. In this case, Deku is gonna be a male, but is confused as a female. Okay, so basically, when Deku was born, his mother died during pregnancy. Well, died during trying to give birth to Izuku. How long do I have? Not long, okay. And the doctors did not know what to do because the baby was shaped as the ancient time Iron Maiden, which is the picture in front of you. Here's an actual real life image of it. But this one will do. And when the baby was at least 3 years old at best, they shipped him off into an orphanage because his father died in a car accident. And he has no living relatives except for the Bakugo family. But because Inko died, Mitsuki thought as the baby as a serial killer and killed her best friend. And it was bad luck because the baby was born, because Hisashi died in a car accident. Inko died during pregnancy. And if this happens to someone, do not treat them that way. If a person died during the pregnancy, do not treat the baby as a killer. Because that's literally messed up what Mitsuki is doing. And Mitsuki already has a baby of her own, which is Bakugo. And so Deku was put into an orphanage. But because Deku was mainly deformed, well, not deformed. Deku was slowly very young for a child to be put into an orphanage, which was a baby. The orphanage did take him in, but locked him in a room by himself. The only time that they go in there is to feed him, change him, or roll him around, because that's what you actually have to do to a baby, or else they're gonna be deformed in a part of their body. And so Deku is basically left to his own devices. The caretakers in the orphanage did place toys, stuff for babies to enjoy, even put a TV in there so he could watch videos by himself. And once Deku was growing up, the people in the orphanage saw how he has luscious green hair put up into this into a bun, and then like this little crown thing on top of his head. And once they try to remove it, Deku always screams and cries. And once they figure out that that was actually part of Deku's body, they actually took him to a hospital to check it out. And when they did an x-ray on Deku, there was actual bones in the little crown. They realized if they try to take it off, that's basically part of Deku's body, and he will bleed. So they left it on, well, gave Deku a lollipop, helped him up, and the thing is, Deku looks very metallic, like metal metallic. He was very heavy, and it was hard for him to move. So Deku was always like helped move by one of the nurses or caretakers, however you want to say them. But they basically they mainly help him move his arms and legs and torso and head. And Deku was already able to move his mouth, eyes, and nose and ears. Like, those parts of the body are fine, but the rest of him, he was basically paralyzed but trying to learn how to move again. And so Deku was, and the thing is, Deku's like very heavy because he's actual metal. And once I'm gonna skip to the age of 4, when Deku was taken to the quirk doctor and told his quirk. He was told that his quirk is called the Iron Maiden. And once he asked why is it called that, the doctor said that you could open your body and trap someone in and skewer them alive. That's what the original Iron Maiden is like. And that's what you could do. Once we first took your x-ray, the crown on your head is part of your system and blood circulation as well as bones. And it's very heavy and thick. But once we realized the rest of your body is kind of the exact same way, your head is basically the rest of your organs and muscle system. Your body is basically empty. The only things are inside is metal and little needles that can puncture a human hand and the rest of its body. Your head's the only thing that has everything. The rest of them is empty. You could still feel the fibers and movement of your hands, fingers, and toes. That's because the metal conceals a little bit of muscle and veins and a bit of bones. But inside is like empty. And the crown on your head basically holds a lot of your organs. And so you need to be careful with the top of your head as well as your body. And once they showed the physical form of Deku, they looked inside and see that Deku's entire body has skewers. And they see like a bit of organs. Like they were tickling, like they were like knocking on the back of Deku, and they hear like Deku say ow. And once they ran the experiment again, like checking where the organs are at, they realize his organs are not in his head, but in his entire body. They were so like thin that Deku is hiding them between the sheets of metal. That is his entire body. Once they told Deku to grab the side of his body with his arm and try to open himself up. Deku was a bit scared, but then he tried it because of curious. And so he grabbed the side of his chest and lifted open. Once you see his front side of the body, he realized there's actual skewers, which like scared him because now he has to hide his body. And he was told that he has basically a villainous quirk because of it. And Deku was always shunned about it. And so Deku closed up his body and left with the caretaker. And once they got back to the orphanage, he was bullied, outcast, and basically locked in his room most of the day. No one came to help him when he asked for it, or no one came to help him move or anything. Normally before Deku was told about his quirk, he was basically getting help every single day of the entire week because he needs help to move his arms, legs, torso, head. But now they just let him sit there and do nothing. So Deku has to learn by himself. And remember, he's 4 years old and he's struggling how to move. And this is an actual problem in the world. As Deku is learning how to move and walk, and the first thing he does is walk to the door. And he's not even walking, he's crawling on the floor because he can't move his legs correctly, so he's crawling like an infant. And when Deku was growing up, no one wanted to adopt him because of what people told them about whenever they wanted to adopt him. Oh no, you don't want a child with a villainous quirk. Oh no, he could kill you if he wants. Why? This is what Deku's thinking. Why are you doing this? If you don't want me here, then let me get adopted. And then people could treat me out there like what you want in here. You could lock me up in my room, but don't stop people for trying to adopt me. In this case, Deku was in the orphanage until the age of 14. Well, not 14. Till the age of 5. When Deku decided to put an end to the bullying and torture and started... Since the age of 5, Deku was mainly moving around and he got the hang of it. He took his first steps at the age... Well, close to the end of age of 4 for him. How long do I have? Whoa. And now, during the age of 5 to 10, Deku's been moving around and lifting stuff up with... the stuff in the orphanage was not heavy at all, so he goes outside each night and starts working out. When he turned to the age of 11, he realized no one wanted to adopt him because he's getting older and people wanted a child. And so he started putting more work on, instead of trying to make himself more oppressive so he could get adopted, he started working out more and more. Now Deku's at the age of 14 and he's working out every single night. I think this is enough for today. Sorry guys.